Yo, guys, is Derek Chauvin dead? Oh no, wait. Oh, Derek's having such a terrible time. Yo, guys, look at this. Ex-officer Derek Chauvin stabbed in prison. Now, I personally don't like anybody being, I don't like stabbings, in my personal opinion. But that's crazy. It's a big rip moment. It's a huge rip moment. He was stabbed by another inmate and seriously injured on Friday, a federal prison, in federal prison in Arizona. Person familiar with the matter? Oh, he's in Arizona? That's crazy. The attack happened on the Federal Correctional Institution, Tucson, a medium security prison that has been plagued by security lapses and staffing shortages. The prison was not authorized to publicly discuss details on the attack and spoke to the AP under the condition of anonymity. The Bureau of Prisons confirmed that an incarcerated person was assaulted at FCI Tucson around 12:30 p.m. local time on Friday. In a statement, the agency said responding employees contained the incident and performed life-saving measures before the inmate, who it did not name, was taken to the hospital for further treatment and evaluation. Life-threatening? Yo, they almost got him. They almost killed him. Do you think that when he was on the stretcher, he was like, I can't breathe? Do you think he said, I can't breathe? And they're like, we got you, man. I can't get any air in. And the far right's gonna make Derek Chauvin a martyr by the weekend. Where have you been since the video even came out? Derek Chauvin's been a martyr for the conservatives for like a long time. Their whole thing is like, when like the blacks and the minorities come for whitey, that's their whole thing going on right now. It's gonna flare up again. It just did flare up because I mean, I guess again, but this happened recently. Did you all see what had been happening recently? So basically what happened is that Derek Chauvin asked the Supreme Court to review his conviction, and the Supreme Court was like, no dog, you're guilty, stay in jail. And after that happened, all the right went into a complete tizzy. They were going crazy. They were losing it. They're like, I saw some crazy white supremacists be like, this is what happens in this country. White people are treated like second-class citizens, but it's okay because the darkies aren't going to be given special treatment anymore once the Hispanics take over. I was like, what the fuck? Do you ever think about just being a normal person, like, for once in your life? You ever like sit there completely alone, filled with hatred over the thought of like somebody going to jail for killing another person, and you go, man, I just want friends? Never think? Yeah, that ever cross your mind? Second class citizens, the delusion. They're completely delusional. They're completely out of it. But yeah, anytime like a white person is ever held accountable for anything that they do wrong, obviously they find it bad because they think that just white people should rule the world and lord over people of different skin tones without any repercussions at all, because they believe that they're just simply better. So yeah, obviously any single time something bad happens, they're gonna be on the whole, oh yeah, that guy's always right train. And the craziest thing about it is that he's like, and one of the guys in there was like, you know what, the bad thing about white people is that we're not kind of more like black people, because those blacks, every single time one of them goes to jail or something, all of them rally behind them and they protect them no matter what. And they said it's kind of based, but white people need to do it because we're better. Yeah, I was like, okay, all right, man. We actually talked about something along those lines before, how like a lot white people don't have solidarity with other white people who are suffering, who aren't like rich and like well off and seen as like the model white person, something like that. Which actually was a great video. It was a fantastic video. It sparked my interest to talk about it, mostly because it was a video of this person who was convicted of some crime, who was wheelchair bound in a Georgia prison, who was left to die in like a freezer. He made one of the like guards angry, so they wheeled him into a walk-in freezer and then left him there, and then he died. And then like a bunch of white people, and the guy was white, and then a bunch of white people in the comment section were like, well, that piece of shit kind of had it coming. And I was thinking, I was like, don't all you people think that like white people or something are on the back foot and they need to band together or something? And then you say stuff like this about Like, if you can't stand up for somebody who is like who's wheelchair bound, being wheeled into a freezer to die, how are you going to stand up for like any other white person that like any like ever, right? Because the people who are at the forefront of these types of like anti-police brutality movements aren't just like your average conservative white person. Like they do not care. They do not care. And not only that, they genuinely despise those types of people. And honestly, there was a study about it as well that we looked at about how like those types of people genuinely hate poor and like disenfranchised white people more than black people and more than other minorities as well. It's pretty crazy the type of hate that they have. They couldn't care unless the guy who wheeled them in wasn't white. Yeah, and then the guy was, and like if the guy was convicted of that crime, they'd be like, well, he had a heart condition. He had a heart condition. Yeah, these types of people will say like Jews or the blacks or like Hispanic people hate them, bro. Those guys hate white people more than any other. Listen, I've seen some mean tweets against white people on Twitter before, but there's some things that I've seen, like the sort of like clinically picking apart the brain of one of these people with some of the things that they say about other white people is it's crazy. Like, have you seen any of these people talk about like white women and how those white women aren't using their uteruses to produce more Aryan children to take over the world once again? Like, I don't know, man. Those people are strange, true and real. If those guys are just there more for like wanting to get those white women pregnant, yeah, by force, right? I mean, it's another angle to their forced abortion stance. It is, sorry, to their like forced pregnancy stance. How they're just straight up like, we want these women to be forced to have babies because when they don't, like, our population suffers. So their uterus needs to be able to fit cleanly in the palm of their hand again. So they want the Handmaid's Tale. They really do. Somebody in the comment section said fentanyl was in his system, caused the stab wounds. Case closed. Oh, oh, it's true. It's true. He had fentanyl in his system. He did say, I'm stabbed like 10 minutes before he actually got stabbed. So he was crying about stabbings, right? Like right before he got stabbed. So no, I'm thinking that this was a pre-existing condition. Vaxxed. Vaxxed. Yeah, and they're still 100% on the train of like, yeah, Floyd died of an overdose. They still believe that. They genuinely still believe that. They watch the guy get strangled for 9 minutes and go, yeah, he died of an overdose.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it.
Thank you, Boo.